She never thought a rainy night would change her life forever, or that one act of kindness would reveal a secret she had kept for 28 years. The rain came down like bullets. Elena's heels splashed through puddles as she ran, portfolio clutched against her chest. The museum district at midnight, deserted, dark, stupid. She'd missed the last bus, and now 3 shadows were closing in behind her. "Hey, sweetheart, that's a nice bag." Her heart hammered against her ribs. She spun around, back pressed against wet brick. Headlights cut through the rain like a blade. A black Mercedes SUV screeched to a halt. A man emerged, tall, expensive suit already soaking, dark hair plastered to his forehead. His presence filled the alley like thunder. "Get in the car." His voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. Elena's legs moved before her brain caught up. She stumbled toward the SUV, his hand catching her elbow, firm, steady, warm despite the rain. "Leave. Now," he told the men. Something in his eyes made them scatter. Inside the car, Elena's breath came in short gasps. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. The interior smelled like leather and cedar. "Thank you. Put your seatbelt on." Cold. Clipped. "Where do you live?" "5th and Morrison?" "That's 40 minutes from here. It's past midnight." His jaw tightened. "You'll stay at my place tonight." "I can't just—" "Would you prefer I turn around, drop you back in that alley?" Elena studied his profile. Sharp cheekbones, jaw that could cut glass, eyes fixed on the road. Everything about him screamed control. Everything except the slight tremor in his hands on the steering wheel. He's scared too, she realized. He just hides it better. "Elena," she said quietly. "Elena Martinez." His eyes flicked to her for half a second. Adrian Cross, architect, not a serial killer. The penthouse was all glass and steel, cold, beautiful, empty. "Guest room is down the hall. Don't—" He was already moving away. "Thank you," Elena said. "Really?" He paused, his back to her. "Lock your door." Elena stood alone in the cavernous space, dripping onto floors that probably cost more than her yearly rent. Her eyes caught on something, a sketchbook, left open on the dining table. A woman's face rendered in charcoal with such tenderness it made her throat tight. "I thought I told you not to touch anything." Elena jumped. Adrian stood in the doorway, jacket discarded, tie loosened. His eyes were on the sketchbook. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean—" "Go to bed, Miss Martinez. I'll have my driver take you home in the morning." He closed the sketchbook with careful hands and walked away. Elena wondered who the woman was, why he looked at her sketch like he was staring at a ghost. What neither of them knew was that this collision would unravel everything they thought they knew about trust, love, and the walls they'd built around their hearts. The guest room was bigger than Elena's entire apartment. She stood under the shower for 20 minutes. The clothes in the dresser were designer, tags still attached, sizes ranging from small to large, like he kept them for random women he rescued. But sleep wouldn't come. At 2 a.m., she crept into the hallway. Adrian stood at the windows, holding a glass of amber liquid. "Can't sleep?" She gasped, spinning around. He was still in his dress shirt, sleeves rolled up. "The city's prettier at night," he said, "less honest in daylight." "Your call went well?" "Terribly." He took a sip. "There's tea in the kitchen, 3rd cabinet from the left." Elena found herself smiling. "You're very particular." "Control is what I do. I design buildings that won't fall down." "Elena, you saved my life. You can call me Elena." "You should go back to bed." "Should I? You're awake too." "I don't sleep much." "Why?" "That's none of your business."
Elena crossed to the kitchen, started boiling water. "The woman in your drawing, she's beautiful." Silence. Then, "My mother. She died when I was 16. Car accident." "That's why it feels like a museum in here. You're living in a mausoleum." He laughed, sharp and humorless. "My ex-fiancée said something similar, right before she left because I'm apparently emotionally unavailable." The kettle whistled. Elena poured 2 cups, brought him chamomile. Their fingers brushed as he took it. The touch lasted half a second. It felt like lightning. "You're not a statue. Statues don't rescue strangers in the rain." "Then why does it feel like I'm forgetting how to be human?" The question hung between them, raw and real. "Tell me about her, your mother." And he did. They talked until sunrise. He told her about his mother's love of impressionism, her laugh, the way she'd sketch on napkins. Elena told him about her own mother, who taught her that trust was earned slowly. When his driver arrived at 7 a.m., neither had slept. "Thank you," Adrian said quietly, "for listening." The elevator doors started to close. "Wait." His hand shot out. "Your number, in case the police need a statement." That's not why you're asking, Elena thought. But she gave it anyway. 3 days later, her phone rang. "Miss Martinez?" "Elena." Adrian's voice, professional. "I need an art restorer. The museum gave me your name. My mother's collection. I'm donating it. But first, it needs someone who understands." "When?" "Tomorrow. My office at 2 p.m. "I'll be there." She heard him exhale. Relief or regret, she couldn't tell. Elena stared at her phone, smiling despite herself. What she didn't know was that Adrian had called the museum 3 times before getting her name. His hands shaking, terrified that asking was a mistake, but unable to stop himself. The museum's restoration wing smelled like linseed oil and thyme. Elena spread the inventory across her table. 15 paintings, each one a window into Adrian's mother's soul. They'd been stored properly but neglected, colors fading, varnish yellowing. "They need extensive work," she said. 3 months, minimum. "Whatever they need." His voice was carefully neutral. "Money isn't an issue." "It never is with you, is it?" She glanced back. "These pieces deserve respect." "I know. That's why I asked for you specifically." Elena's brush stilled. "You asked for me?" "I remembered that night. The way you looked at my sketch. Like you understood what it meant, not just what it was." Something in her chest tightened. "It's not about the art. It's about what the artist was feeling." "Yes, exactly." Their eyes held. The space between them felt charged. "I'll need to work here," Elena said. "That means I'll come here. Weekly reviews. I want to see them as they're restored." I haven't looked at her work in 18 years. Vulnerability, she realized. Over 3 weeks, they fell into rhythm. He'd arrive at 2 p.m. every Monday. Week 3, he brought coffee. Her order exactly right. "How did you know?" "You mentioned it 2 weeks ago." He remembered. Week 4, she was on a ladder when her foot slipped. His hands caught her waist, steadying her. His face inches below hers. "Careful." His voice was breathless. So was hers. "I'm okay." But neither moved. His hand stayed on her waist. She could feel his heartbeat. "You should come down." "Should I?" "Elena." Her name in his mouth felt like a prayer. She descended slowly. He backed up. I need to tell you something. I don't do this. Whatever this is, I'm not good at it. I'll hurt you without meaning to. I'm scared. Elena finished. You're scared. He flinched. Yes, so am I. You think you're the only one who's afraid? I don't let people in. I don't trust easily. Why? Because trust means giving someone the power to hurt you and hoping they won't. Understanding crossed his face. What if I do hurt you? Then I'll survive. But what if you don't? What if we're both too scared to try and we miss something that could be extraordinary? He finished. His hand lifted, hovering near her face, asking permission. Elena nodded. His fingertips brushed her cheek. Soft, reverent. You're not just... I'm not doing this lightly. I know. I've never felt like this. Elena's breath caught. Then his phone rang. They both laughed, shaky, almost hysterical. When he hung up, he said, I have to go. Victoria's in town. Victoria? My ex-fiancée. She wants to meet. Something cold settled in Elena's stomach. I'll see you next week. He left without touching her again. What neither of them saw coming was that Victoria's arrival would detonate everything they'd carefully built.
Monday, Adrian didn't come. Review this week? Elena texted. No response. Wednesday, something came up. Next week. Friday, she threw herself into work. She was photographing finished pieces when footsteps echoed. Not Adrian. A woman stood in the doorway. Tall, polished, blonde hair in a perfect chignon. Smile like a knife. You must be Elena. Victoria. Can I help you? I wanted to see what all the fuss was about. Victoria glided in, eyeing the paintings. Adrian's been so distracted lately. I'm just doing my job. Are you? Because it looks like you're doing quite a bit more. Her eyes were sharp. I've known Adrian 6 years. I know when he's interested. That's between him and me. Is it? Here's the thing. Adrian likes broken things, projects, people he can fix. Makes him feel needed. But once you're whole, she snapped her fingers, he's bored. The words hit like bullets. How did you meet? Let me guess. He saved you from something? Played the hero? Elena's silence was answer enough. He did the same with me. Showed up when I was at my lowest. Made me believe I mattered until I didn't. Victoria headed for the door. Once you don't need saving anymore, you become just another painting in his mother's collection. Beautiful, preserved, and completely forgotten. Elena stood shaking. Her phone buzzed. Adrian, can you meet tonight? My place, 8 p.m. Need to talk. 8 p.m. I'll be there. Adrian answered the door in jeans and a t-shirt. She'd never seen him casual. Victoria came to see me, made me a proposition, wants investors for her company. I told her no, but that's not what I asked you here for. Then what? You. Me. Whatever this is. I've been avoiding you this week, not because I wanted to, because I'm terrified. Of what? Of you. Elena, I haven't let anyone close in years, and you just walked in and made it look easy. When I care about people, I lose them. Elena stepped forward. You're not a statue. You're protected, and that's okay. But if you want this, you have to let me in. What if I don't know how? Then we learn together.
His hand cupped her face. I'm falling for you. Maybe I started falling that first night. Somewhere between the rain and the paintings, I crossed a line. Can't go back. Don't want to. I'm falling too. Are you? Yes, but I need you to understand something. I took a breath. I've never been with anyone. Not like that. I'm 28 and I'm still a virgin. Not because of shame, but because I was raised to believe intimacy requires trust. Deep, real trust. And I've never felt that until now. He finished softly. Yes. Elena, that doesn't scare me. It makes me want to be more careful with you, more intentional. I don't care about your past or inexperience. I care about you, about learning you at whatever pace you need. What if Victoria's right? What if I'm just another project? His eyes blazed. She said that to you? Today. Listen to me. Hands framed her face. You're not broken. You're not a project. You're the most whole person I've ever met. You don't need fixing. You just need someone who sees you and chooses to stay. And you want to be that person? I want to try. Elena kissed him. His lips were soft, hesitant at first, then deeper. One hand tangled in her hair, the other pressed against her lower back. Stay, he whispered. Let me hold you. Let me prove I'm not going anywhere. They lay in his bed, his arms around her, her head on his chest. Thank you for trusting me, he murmured. Around 2 a.m., he tensed. What's wrong? I'm waiting for the part where you realize I'm not worth this, where you see all the broken pieces I can't fix, and you leave. Elena lifted her head. Adrian, I'm an art restorer. I spend my life with broken pieces. The cracks are where the light gets in. The damage is what makes things beautiful. His eyes were shining. He kissed her slower, deeper, full of promise and hope. When they fell asleep, wrapped around each other, Elena felt safe. But Victoria wasn't done, and her next move would shatter that safety into a million pieces. The email arrived on Tuesday morning. Ms. Martinez, we need to discuss irregularities found in your recent restoration work. Come to my office immediately. Elena's hands went cold. Irregularities? That was impossible. Margaret Chen sat behind her desk, face grave. A folder lay open. Sit down, Elena. What's this about? Margaret pushed the folder across. These were delivered this morning, anonymously. Invoices for materials she'd never ordered, prices inflated by thousands, all bearing her signature. I never signed these. There are also allegations you've been selling authentication certificates for forgeries. Margaret's eyes were sad. I don't want to believe this, but the evidence is fake. Someone's framing me. Who would do that? Victoria. The board is demanding immediate suspension. You need to leave, now. But the collection, Adrian's mother's paintings, will be reassigned. Elena felt the world tilt. You know me. You know I wouldn't. Until we sort this out, you're suspended. No pay, no access. Elena walked out in a daze. Her phone rang. Adrian. Hey, I was thinking, I've been suspended. The words came out flat. Someone forged invoices, made it look like I was embezzling. Silence. Adrian? How much money are we talking about? Something cold slithered down her spine. What? In the invoices, how much? Why does that matter? Elena? His voice was different now, controlled, distant. I need to know what we're dealing with. We? Her laugh was bitter. You think I did it? I didn't say that. You didn't have to. I can hear it in your voice. Tears burned her eyes. Victoria was right. You don't trust me. That's not fair, isn't it? First sign of trouble, and you're already questioning me, already pulling away. I'm trying to help. No, you're trying to control the situation, fix the problem. Except I'm not a problem to be fixed, Adrian. I'm the person you supposedly care about. Elena, please. She hung up. The phone rang again and again. She turned it off. That night, alone in her apartment, Elena stared at the ceiling and felt everything crumble. Her career, her reputation, her trust in the one person she'd let in. Victoria had won. What Elena didn't know was that Adrian was already tearing apart Victoria's life, hunting for evidence, his hands shaking with rage, not at Elena, but at himself for letting doubt creep into his voice, even for a second. For 3 days, Elena didn't answer Adrian's calls. She packed her apartment methodically. If she couldn't work in the city, she'd go home, start over, somewhere no one knew her name or her shame. At 2 a.m. on the 4th night, someone pounded on her door. She opened it. Adrian stood there, hair disheveled, eyes wild, still wearing yesterday's clothes. He looked destroyed. Don't. She tried to close the door. His hand stopped it. Victoria forged everything. Elena froze. I found her. Found proof. She's been embezzling from my company for months. Needed a scapegoat. Chose you to get you out of the way and hurt me simultaneously. His voice cracked. I'm so sorry. For doubting you. For not saying immediately that I believed you. For get out. Elena, you think sorry fixes this? Her voice shook. I told you things I've never told anyone. Trusted you with parts of myself I've kept locked away my entire life. And the first time things got hard, you questioned me. I know. He looked broken. I know, and I hate myself for it. But please, let you what? Make excuses? Tell me you were scared? I was scared too, Adrian. I was terrified and alone, and the one person who was supposed to believe in me, her voice broke. I do believe in you. No. Tears streamed down her face. You believe in the version of me that's easy, that fits into your controlled world. But the second things got messy, you bailed. That's not true. Then why did you ask about the money? Why was your first instinct to assess the situation instead of supporting me? He had no answer. The silence confirmed everything. I spent my whole life being careful, Elena whispered, guarding my heart. And then you showed up and made me believe it was safe to be reckless, to trust, to fall. She wiped her eyes. But it wasn't. You weren't. Elena, please. I need you to leave. I can fix this. I've already contacted the museum, shown them the evidence. Your suspension will be lifted. Your name cleared. Victoria's being arrested. I can fix everything except us. She looked at him. Because the problem isn't Victoria. It's that when it mattered most, you chose doubt over me. I was scared. So was I. But I still chose you. Even when Victoria got in my head. Even when I was terrified you were using me. I still showed up. Still trusted. Her voice dropped. You didn't. Adrian's face crumpled. Tell me how to make this right. I don't know if you can. Elena, please go. He stood there for a long moment, looking like he wanted to argue, fight for her. But then his shoulders sagged. "I love you," he said quietly. "I know I haven't said it. No, I should have said it earlier. But I do. I love you. And I'm so fucking sorry." Then he left. Elena closed the door and slid down it sobbing, because she loved him too, and that made it hurt so much worse. Neither of them slept that night, and in the morning, Adrian would make a choice that would change everything.
1 week later, Elena returned to the museum. Margaret had called personally, apologetic and mortified. Elena's name was cleared. Victoria was arrested. The board wanted her back immediately. But the restoration wing felt different now. Hollow. She was cataloging supplies when she heard his voice. "You came back." Adrian stood in the doorway, looking like he hadn't slept in days. Dark circles under his eyes, wrinkled shirt, nothing like the controlled man she'd met. "The museum offered me my job back," she said without turning around. Seemed stupid to refuse. "Elena, what do you want, Adrian?" "To apologize. Properly." He moved closer. "I spent the last week trying to figure out what was wrong with me, why I reacted that way, and I realized I've spent my whole life terrified of loss, so I control everything, keep everyone at a distance, and when I couldn't control what was happening to you, I panicked. That's not an excuse. I know, but it's the truth." His voice was raw. "I'm broken, Elena, and not in the beautiful way you talked about. I'm broken in the way that hurts people I care about." She finally turned. "So what? You're just going to stay broken? Use it as a shield?" "No." He met her eyes. "I'm going to try to heal. I've started therapy, actually talking about my mother, my father, all the things I've buried. It's hell, but I'm doing it. Because you were right. I can't keep living in a mausoleum." Elena's throat tightened. "Adrian, I don't expect you to forgive me or take me back. I just need you to know that you changed me, made me want to be better, and even if you never speak to me again, I'm grateful for that." Silence stretched between them. "I was hurt," Elena said quietly. "Not just by your doubt, but because I'd finally let myself be vulnerable, and it felt like you threw it back in my face. I did, and I'm so sorry. But I've been thinking too," she stepped closer, "about my own walls, how I've spent so long being careful, I forgot that love is supposed to be a little reckless, a little messy." Hope flickered in his eyes. "Elena, I'm still angry at you, okay? And hurt, I know. But I also love you." The words tumbled out, "and I'm tired of being too scared to try." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying we're both broken, both scared, both terrible at this." She took his hands. "But maybe that's okay. Maybe we don't have to be perfect. We just have to be honest." "I can do honest." "I love you. I'm terrified of losing you, and I promise to spend every day proving that I choose you, even when things get hard, especially then." Those are big promises. I mean every word. Elena looked at their joined hands. "If we do this, really do this, I need you to promise me something. Anything. Don't save me. Be with me." There's a difference. Understanding crossed his face. "Partners, not rescuer and rescued." "Yes, I can do that." He pulled her closer. "Can I kiss you now?" "Yes." His lips met hers, soft, desperate, full of apology and promise. She kissed him back, pouring everything into it, the hurt, the love, the terrifying hope that maybe they could make this work. When they broke apart, both breathless,
He pressed his forehead to hers. "Come home with me," he whispered. "Let me show you I'm serious. About us. About everything. Adrian, no pressure, no expectations. Just be with me. Let me hold you. Let me prove I'm not going anywhere." Elena nodded. They drove to his penthouse in comfortable silence, hands intertwined. Inside, the space had changed more. Photos on the walls now, color everywhere. Signs of life. "You've been redecorating," she said. Couldn't stand the mausoleum anymore. Needed it to feel like a home. He smiled softly. They moved to his bedroom. He gave her space to change. When she emerged in his t-shirt, he was sitting on the bed, looking vulnerable. They lay down together, his arms wrapped around her. Safe. Right. "I missed this. Missed you. I missed you too." His hands traced patterns on her back. She could feel his heartbeat accelerating, feel her own matching it. "Elena? Yeah? I want you to know we don't have to do anything tonight. We can just—" She kissed him, cutting off his words. "Adrian, I trust you. I want this. Want you. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything." What happened next was tender, slow, full of whispered questions and breathless answers. Every touch asked permission. Every moment built trust. And when the world narrowed to just the two of them, Elena finally understood what it meant to be cherished. The rest of the night belonged only to them, a sacred space of vulnerability and trust, finally brave enough to be spoken out loud.
Elena woke wrapped in Adrian's arms, feeling safe for the first time in weeks. Morning light filtered through the windows. She traced patterns on his chest, feeling his heart beat steady beneath her fingers. "Morning," he murmured, voice rough with sleep. "Morning." He kissed her forehead. "How do you feel?" "Different. Good different." "Yeah?" "Yeah," she smiled. "Like I finally stopped being scared." "Me too." They stayed in bed for hours, talking, laughing, learning each other in daylight. It felt easy, natural, right. Then his phone buzzed, and buzzed again. Adrian checked it, his face darkening. Shit. What? Victoria's lawyer. They're spinning this as a vendetta, claiming I framed her because she rejected me. He scrolled through messages. It's all over the news. Your name too. Elena's stomach dropped. She grabbed her phone. The headlines were brutal. Billionaire's new girlfriend at center of embezzlement scandal. Adrian Cross, from architecture to accusations. Art restorer or con artist. The comments were worse. People calling her a gold digger, saying she seduced him for money, making assumptions about her character, her body, her worth. "Elena," Adrian's hand on her face, "look at me. This is noise. It doesn't matter." "It does matter. My name, my career. We'll survive this. We'll survive this." His jaw set. "I'm calling my lawyer, my PR team. We'll release a statement with all the evidence." "No." Elena stood pulling on clothes. "You can't fix this for me." "Elena. Remember what I said. Partners, not rescuer and rescued?" She met his eyes. "I need to handle this myself. Let me help. You can support me, but this is mine to fix." He looked like he wanted to argue, but slowly, he nodded. "Okay, what do you need?" "Your belief in me." "You have it, always."
Elena called a press conference for that afternoon. Against every advisor's recommendation, she decided to speak for herself. She stood in front of cameras, hand shaking but voice steady. My name is Elena Martinez. Over the past weeks, my reputation has been destroyed by lies. I want to set the record straight, not with lawyers or PR statements, but with the truth. She told her story, the forged documents, Victoria's manipulation, the evidence proving her innocence. She didn't mention Adrian much. This wasn't about him. It was about her. But more than that, she continued, I want to talk about the comments I've seen, about my character, my relationships, my choices. She took a breath. I'm 28 years old. I've worked hard for every opportunity I've had. And yes, I'm in a relationship with Adrian Cross, but that doesn't make me a gold digger. It makes me a woman who fell in love. Her voice strengthened. We live in a world that questions women's motives constantly, that assumes we're either victims or villains, never just people. Human beings making choices, making mistakes, making lives for ourselves. So here's my statement. I refuse to be ashamed of my career, my relationship, or my choices. I refuse to let anyone else define my worth. She looked directly at the camera. And to anyone facing similar scrutiny, you're not alone. Stand in your truth. Don't let the noise drown out who you know yourself to be. She walked away without taking questions. The response was immediate. Social media exploded. Some supportive, some still cruel. But Elena didn't check her phone. She'd said what she needed to say. Adrian was waiting outside, eyes shining with pride. That was incredible. Was it enough? More than enough. You were strong, honest, powerful. Everything I love about you. Elena fell into his arms. I was terrified. I know, but you did it anyway. Over the next days, the tide turned. Other women came forward with their own stories of Victoria's manipulations. Adrian's evidence became public. The truth emerged. Elena returned to work to a standing ovation from her colleagues. And through it all, Adrian stood beside her. Not in front of, not behind, but beside, supporting without overshadowing. One night, they lay tangled together in his bed. Their bed. Now, she'd moved in officially last week. You know what I realized? Elena said. What? We're good at this. The messy, complicated, real stuff. He kissed her. Yeah, we really are. But their biggest test was still coming, and it would force Adrian to choose between everything he'd built and the woman who taught him how to feel again.
The call came during breakfast 3 months later. Adrian's face went pale as he listened. When he hung up, he couldn't meet Elena's eyes. What's wrong? That was my board. There's a hostile takeover attempt on my company. He ran a hand through his hair. The only way to stop it is a merger with Tanaka Industries in Tokyo. Okay, so do the merger. It requires a marriage merger, traditional, binding. I'd need to marry Keiko Tanaka within 6 months. The words hit like a physical blow. What? It's archaic, I know, but it's how her family operates. And without this merger, I lose the company. Everything I've built. 40% of my net worth. The legacy my mother wanted me to have. Elena set down her coffee cup with shaking hands. So you have to choose. The company or me? Elena, answer the question, Adrian. I don't want to choose. But you have to. She stood, wrapping her arms around herself. And we both know what you're going to pick. That's not fair, isn't it? This is your entire life, your mother's legacy, everything you've worked for.
How can I compete with that? You're not competing. Yes, I am. And I'm going to lose. Because I'm not worth billions of dollars. I'm just me. Don't do that. Don't diminish yourself. He stood, reaching for her. You're worth everything to me. Then prove it. The words hung between them. Heavy. Impossible. The board meets in 24 hours, Adrian said quietly. I need to give them an answer. Then you should probably figure out what that answer is. She left for work. Adrian stood alone in their apartment, staring at the city below. He thought about his mother, how she had sacrificed everything for him, how she had wanted him to build something that mattered. The company was that something. But Elena was right. He had to choose. That afternoon, he called his lawyer, his board, his father even, though that conversation went as poorly as expected. You throw away billions for a woman? His father sneered. I raised you better than that. No, Adrian said quietly. You didn't raise me at all. That was Mom. And she taught me that people matter more than things. Love matters more than money. He hung up. At midnight, Elena came home to find him on the couch, still fully dressed. Did you decide? Yeah. And? He stood, crossed to her, took her hands in his. I built that company to honor my mother, to prove I could create something lasting, something beautiful. His voice was steady. But you know what I realized? Buildings crumble, companies fail, money disappears. But love, real love, that's the only thing worth building a life around. Elena, I told the board no. I'm walking away from the merger, from half the company, from billions of dollars. He cupped her face. Because none of it means anything if I lose you. Tears streamed down Elena's face. You can't do that for me. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for us, for the life we're building together. He smiled. My mother didn't want me to be rich. She wanted me to be happy. And you make me happier than I've ever been. But everything you've worked for, I'll rebuild. Smaller maybe, more ethical, on my own terms. And this time, I'll build it with you beside me, if you'll have me. Elena kissed him, desperate, grateful, overwhelmed. I love you, she whispered against his lips. I love you so much, it terrifies me. Good, because I'm terrified too. But I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you. They held each other in the middle of their living room as the city lights twinkled below. What happens now? Elena asked. Now? We figure it out together. The next morning, Adrian walked into the boardroom and signed away half his empire. The board members looked at him like he was insane. Maybe he was. But as he left that building and called Elena to tell her it was done, he felt lighter than he had in years. Neither of them knew it yet, but this choice would lead to something even more beautiful than what they had sacrificed. A life built on love instead of legacy, on partnership instead of power. 6 months later, Elena stood in the doorway of their new apartment, smaller than the penthouse, warmer, filled with art and life and color. Not a mausoleum, a home. Adrian's new firm was thriving, boutique, ethical, focused on sustainable architecture. He'd lost the corporate machine but gained his soul back. She watched him now, sitting at the dining table with his sketchbook, not drawing buildings, drawing her. You're staring, he said without looking up. You're worth staring at. He smiled, that soft smile he saved just for her. Come here. She crossed to him and he pulled her into his lap. His hand rested on her stomach, still flat, but not for long. 3 months along, their secret still held close. I was thinking, Elena said, about names. Already? It's never too early to plan. She turned in his arms. If it's a girl, Maybe Isabel, after your mother? Adrian's eyes went bright with tears. Elena, she should know where she comes from, who loved you before I did. He kissed her, slow and deep and full of gratitude. And if it's a boy, he asked. Something strong, something that means brave, because that's what we had to be to get here. Brave. He considered it. I like that. They sat in comfortable silence, his hand on her stomach, her head on his shoulder. Do you ever regret it? Elena asked quietly, giving up the company. Not once. He turned her face to his. You want to know what I regret? The months I wasted being too scared to let you in. Every moment I spent choosing control over connection. That's what I regret. We're different people now. Better people. Together people. He laughed. Is that a technical term? It is now. Elena looked around their home, the art on the walls, some his mother's, some hers, some pieces they'd found together. On the mantel sat his mother's sketchbook, open to a drawing of a sunrise. I think she'd be proud of you. Of us. I hope so. Adrian's hand moved to the ring on her finger, simple, elegant, chosen together 3 months ago. I think she'd love you. And I think my mom loves you. Elena smiled. She called yesterday, asked when we're visiting, said she wants to teach you how to make her famous empanadas. I'm terrified of your mother. Good. You should be. She's fierce. Wonder where you got that from. Elena turned fully in his lap, straddling him. You know what else I was thinking? What? About that night, in the rain, when you saved me? I remember. I used to think that was the beginning, you playing hero, me being rescued. She traced his jaw, but it wasn't. It was just 2 people colliding, both lost, both scared, both looking for something they couldn't name. And did we find it? We found each other, which is better than anything I could have imagined. Adrian stood, lifting her with him. You know what the best part is? What? We get to keep finding each other, every day, for the rest of our lives. He carried her to their bedroom, their sanctuary, their safe space, the place where vulnerability lived. As they made love slow and tender and full of promise, Elena thought about the journey they had taken, the mistakes, the fears, the moments of breathtaking bravery. Afterwards, wrapped in his arms, she watched the sunset paint their walls gold. Adrian? Thank you. For what? For being brave enough to choose me. For fighting for us. For proving that love is worth more than empires. He kissed her forehead. Elena, you've got it backwards. You chose me. You saw past the walls and the control and the fear, and you chose me anyway. That's the bravest thing anyone's ever done. Then we're both heroes. Yeah, I guess we are. 6 months later, they welcomed their daughter into the world. Isabel Elena Cross had her father's eyes and her mother's fierce heart. And when Adrian held her for the first time, tears streaming down his face, he understood what his mother had tried to teach him all along. That love isn't about saving people. It's about standing beside them, building with them, choosing them every single day, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Elena watched her family, her husband, her daughter, their life, and smiled. They'd both been lost in the rain once, both searching for shelter, and somehow, impossibly, they'd found it in each other.
If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and subscribe for more emotional romance stories that will make you believe in love again. Drop a comment telling me, would you choose love or billions? What did you think of Adrian and Elena's journey? Let me know below. See you in the next story.